Welcome to the Boss Mom Movement podcast, where we keep it real about balancing motherhood and ambition. Join 3 moms with 3 unique journeys as we empower moms to thrive in every role they own. Because here, we don't just juggle life, we boss it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Boss Mom Movement podcast with your hosts, Ashlei,
Nicole,
Lericia.
We are excited to be back with you all in the new year. Happy New Year, mamas.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year!
I'm so mad. I really wanted to bring like the little flute cup so we can do like a little toast, but we could do a toast with this.
We can.
Yes.
Shout out
New
to all
Year.
the dope mommies.
Yes. And shout out to Bree for her dope mom brand. I love
Yes,
it. I
Miss
need to
Bree
get me
Renee.
one.
I love it. I
Yes.
do. This Tumblr is one of my favorites. Y'all know I love a good Tumblr.
I do too. I actually brought mine, the one you made for us, the French trip with my face on it. No, you didn't.
India
make that
made
one.
those.
Yes, India. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
For her
shout out to
bachelorette
Indy.
trip.
Yes,
Yeah.
I carried that.
I
cup
lost
everywhere.
mine in my car accident.
Oh, yeah,
She's
you
supposed to
did
make me
say
another one. I
that.
was so sad. That was my favorite Tumblr. It's better than the Stanleys. That's
Yeah.
one thing about it. Stanley's making that money, but baby, that ice be melting.
It do. I don't have one. I was thinking about getting one, but I'm like,
The one that India made for us, my ice used to last like 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
It's a
I'm
really
sure
good cup.
it's a really great tumbler. And then I finally got a Stanley because India ended up gifting me the Stanley while I was pregnant after I got my car accident because I did lose the cup. And that thing be melting 12 hours, in my opinion. I don't know how many hours for
Yeah.
They're cute though.
They are cute.
Cute. I'm a Yeti girl and a brewmate girl.
Ooh,
So
what's
I
a
have
Yeti?
We
I'm
have
a
Yetis at
handy
the house,
dandy
too.
Yeti. I've had that Yeti for years and works
Yeah.
like a charm every time.
Because it take me a while to drink my water anyway, so I need a cup that's gonna keep it cold. Like
That sounds like
I
a
know.
2025 goal.
I know.
More water.
New year, new year, new me. Not really.
No.
New year, same me.
Right.
I literally hate that terminology.
Me too. I don't like the New Year, New Me.
Yeah.
It's like you used to say it, but now it's like when you really think about it, it's like,
Am I a new
why?
me?
Yeah.
Like what's like? I feel like evolved. Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you should always be evolving and growing. Like it should really. I'm like a forever learner, so I just feel like you should always be like learning something
Yeah.
new and figuring out who you are and changing like in that aspect, transformation. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I never understood the new year, new me term, but now, like you said, I think about
Yeah.
it, I'm like, no,
It's like you kinda get
foundationally,
it.
I'm still me.
Yeah. And it's
Like-
like you kind of get it because at the same time, it's like, okay, I know that people find it to be a new restart. So they're like, okay, I get to restart and kind of rebrand themselves. But honestly, I feel like if it's like society kind of pushes this mantra onto us, like new year, new me. And it's just like kind of like the holidays. It starts to become something that is just, just
Yeah.
a little overwhelming, truthfully. And, you spend more money on it. Gym memberships go up. This goes up,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Just to go
But
back down in a month.
exactly. And so it's kind of like you said, a forever learner or, just forever evolving. So when you set those goals for yourself, you're like, okay, I could start, like I started going back to the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
Small wins.
We got to count them, though, because that's
Yeah.
part of the
But-
problem, not
Yeah.
celebrating the small wins.
Yeah. Where it's just like typically I would have been like, oh, I'll start January 1st. But it's like, why?
Why?
I
Why
still
are we
need to go to the
waiting?
gym.
Right.
But remember, we did make a pact. Our very first episode.
We did.
We
We made a pact
did.
and we said that we were gonna go.
I'm starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think having
No,
a little
seriously.
7-year-old accountability partner made me really kind of go though.
That's
'Cause like
so
you said you were
cute.
going to go to the gym. It's like, I did say I was going to go to the gym.
Right. No, that's so cute. Because when you were telling me about that, I was just like, yeah, you do need somebody that's going to say, hey, remember what
Yeah.
you told me? Lawrence does that to
Nothing
me all
like
the
kids,
time. And
child.
like in the moment, I'd be like, be quiet. But
Yeah.
realistically, I'm like, girl, he right. You did
Yeah.
say this.
Or
Yeah.
family members who have no filter and like,
Yes.
you getting a little thick there, girl.
Girl, I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
Definitely. got
Yes.
that
I
on the
wish somebody
holidays.
tell me I'm getting a little thick.
Girl,
That's a new year.
she want to be thick so
resolution.
bad. So them thighs start rubbing together.
Right.
You on vacation
Here.
like,
You want
this is
some?
uncomfortable.
Yes.
Take them, please.
Whatever y'all get rid of, just give it to me. Because, but see, that's the crazy thing too, though, because I think about like what moms go through after having their child, right?
Yeah.
And what we hear mostly is, I gained this weight, my body isn't the same from that aspect. But you don't really hear moms talk about the weight they lost. Like, I never picked that weight back up. Like, I wasn't big when I got pregnant with Riley, but I had a little bit more meat than I do now. And I lost that weight, and I still have not recovered.
But friend, I lost 17 pounds pregnant.
Yeah.
And my starting weight when I got pregnant was about 155. And I used to work out very often before getting pregnant. And I pretty much worked out, I think, almost every day, like 6 times a week. I was cycling a lot and everything. Got pregnant. I lost so much weight. Like, I have a picture of my thighs where they're just like
But
so
you were
tiny,
sick, right?
Yeah, I was sick the whole time. I had to like take pills to even just keep
Eat.
something down. Ava girl had me down bad, but I gained this because now everyone's just like, "Oh, you look so good the way." I said, "There's you just had a baby." Y'all, I didn't have this weight already. That's the part that's really, I think, towing with me because I'm like, dang, I gained 20 pounds after pregnancy. But Kenny's been super supportive. He was like, look up the stats on how many people gain weight and it stick to them after. I'm like, okay, you're right. All right, okay. So it makes me feel a little better because I was just like, okay, once I dropped the baby, I was because I ended up gaining a little weight towards the end because they had me on all these insures because she was small in my belly. And she came out 7 pounds, which was great. But I think my weight right after I weighed was like 171. So started 155, 171. I lost the 17, but gained a little. And then went to the doctor, I think 169. Now I'm 191.
Nothing wrong
Vulnerability moment. I don't think I would ever.
Nothing wrong with that.
But that
drives me crazy.
Why?
I don't
you
know.
carry it well. You look good.
That's what I'm like. I like it.
What is wrong with
But
it?
I think
You
it's the
look good.
personal aspect to it.
I think it's the weight, the number.
Yeah.
And they always say don't look at the scale, but I think it's the number. Like, it's like, dang, I'm close to 200 and I am.
Meanwhile, I'm close to 100. I'm 120.
I like that.
I hate it.
Well,
and I'm like, 5'6", so it just, I look like a Slim
That's
Jim.
so crazy. We just
And I
need to be
don't like
happy
it.
with ourselves because you like 120. It's like I want to be 135 so bad. That was my favorite
Exactly.
weight on me, where I had like my abs were popping, everything just looks good, and it's like I'm never gonna see that again. Just
don't know
truthfully,
that.
I don't think I've ever seen 135 in my life.
Really?
yeah,
Really.
I mean, that was college for me, so it's never coming back. But that's good because you're like you said, it's just one people.
Y'all thick with it, but it's like good thick. But again, like it's all personal because it's like you're used to what you're used to. Like when I got pregnant with Riley, I think I was like 134, 135. That's the biggest I ever been. I was like, oh yes, I'm fine. And then I gained weight when I was pregnant with him. I was like 150. And I was just like, oh yes, this is gonna stay. Baby, how are we here? How are we here? We're at 120. I don't understand. But again, like that personal, because it's like what you went into it with, right?
Yeah.
And like trying to keep hold of this body that you had and trying to get used to this new one. Not saying that you can't make a difference in it, right? Like going to the gym. Like we saying going to the gym. I know I can go and put on some muscles and stuff.
I know.
Like,
it's just a huge commitment.
It is.
And I think that goes into the new year, new me, especially like for moms, because a lot of times the goals that people are setting for the new year, I know this, I'm going into my first new year physically with my baby, not, being pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you start setting these goals for yourself, but now we have other little people to think about, so it's like, okay, what goals do, I want to set for me and my child? Like, okay, I want to make sure she gets this year and this happens. And that whole, like I said, that whole mantra is kind of dead, especially to moms. It's just like, every day, like you said, evolution and,
That's why I just like to say New Year, same me. Like, I'm the same,
but you're not
it's
the
a
same.
New Year.
But that's
same
why
me. The foundation of me, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm
get
saying?
that.
Like my life purpose, who I'm really am called to be. I feel like that person is still the same, even if I still have to do some digging sometimes and figure out, what do I like? It's okay to form new habits or new likes and things like that to help yourself grow. But it's like, the person that you knew 20 years ago, that you met 20 years ago, I'm pretty sure some parts of me are still the same, even though I've evolved. You know what I'm saying? So like from that perspective, yes, I'm the same Ashley, but with a little twist to it,
But I think sometimes people look at the new year, new me as that. like hoping that this new year will help me to evolve into a new me.
Yeah.
So that's how I take the mantra. Like, I don't take it as like pressuring myself to just become this totally new person.
Yeah.
Like, whether if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, that's how I look at it.
I think
it's kind of a combination of what y'all both
No,
said.
actually, that really makes sense though, because at the same time, you're like, okay, this year I could have done these things differently. So you're like, okay, the new me is I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on this area, or maybe, adjust a little more on my spending habits, or, you know what I'm saying, make a little more money, or quit that job.
But I think too, also when we think about like these New Year goals that we want to have, like, we have to be realistic too, especially as moms, because we sometimes want to do so much, right? Or feel like we can do so much. And a lot of times we do. We put a lot of stuff on our back, every day. And so when you think about just like your intentions, like, how do I be this new formed me, realistically speaking? Like, and that's why I always tell people, seasons of your life. Like, we have a list of goals that we may want to accomplish, but it may not be. You may not be able to do it in this season, it might not be until the next 5 years, but it's okay to have it on your goals and to work towards it. But it's like those little baby steps to getting to it, and make sure we celebrate those. Because even you just saying like, I went to the gym, but like, that's big, because how long you been talking about
girl,
that?
I've been trying to go. And I wanted to work. I just envisioned myself as this pregnant, beautiful mom and working out and, and just, but no, I didn't do anything pregnant. I was sick. It was, I pictured even just, style the bump. I didn't have a bump. So, and I think that's something that people should talk about too. I was kind of depressed. I didn't get a bump. It was just like, dang, okay. But going down the line, I was like, dang, I haven't worked out in over a year. So I was super excited to go. And when I went, I was exhausted. It took me out. So yes, you do have to celebrate those small wins, because.
Yeah. And that helps you get to the big win, right? The big goal. So it's like when you do get back in consistently, maybe like how you were pre-Ava, if it gets back to the 6 days a week, it's like,
well, I need 20 pounds. By January 30th, we're going to Dubai.
Not January 30th.
So work
right. The pressure. The
pressure is on.
Okay. I got to put pressure on it.
Well, we're here to hold you accountable, because we're holding ourselves accountable too. Because I need to be reversing and gaining that 30 pounds so I can get back to that 150.
I don't need 30 pounds.
Yeah, I think overall in this like general conversation we just had is that moms need to understand that you just have to love the body you're in. We've created life. We've done different things. All of us look different, and we've birthed different, and it's just different because things jiggle a little more. Something may be sagging. Some people may have lost a little bit of weight, but I do know that moms, we kind of get the run of it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, because I was actually just having a conversation with my mom yesterday. She had 5 children, and we were just talking about weight, and she was talking about how my dad would be telling her, like, you just don't look the same from when we got married. And it's just kind of like, dang, that kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times women, do get that after birth where they don't have that supportive partner to just tell them, like, you're beautiful in your body. And I think that's where we get this idea of like, oh, I need to get lipo. I need to get in the gym. I need to do this. And it's just like, calm down. And, keep things in order. Hello.
Cuzzo.
Hey, baby.
So, that happens.
Okay.
All right, we're
Go
going to take a quick
there.
pause. That was so funny, and I love it. Yeah, that was so authentic.
My bad, guys. We're back now, though. Showcasing real mommyhood, for real, for real. So I'm giving myself grace with that. Please. Compassion. I'm working on my perfectionism.
Yes.
I literally had a friend post about that the other day, and it was super cute. She made this reel about how she's overcoming, like, being a perfectionist. And now that she's in her mid-30s, she was like, I'm just breaking away from that, because that is literally, like, killed her and took away a lot of things from her in her 20s. And I was like, you know what? I need to embrace that too, because I'm definitely a perfectionist. I'm one who's like, I gotta go by the book. Like, everything has to be this way. But since having kids, I'm like, whew, okay.
Yeah.
It's not always gonna be that way.
For
Everything's not gonna flow.
Yeah.
Right.
As we can see, my baby just
Things
popped
happen.
in.
Yeah.
I know.
happen.
That happened to me Christmas shopping. I'm in Sephora. And literally, I have Ava, and she has the Advent glass bottles. It has milk in it. she just breaks at the register. That was, I think, my first like kind of new mom embarrassing thing.
Oh my
and
God,
everybody,
this happened.
and it's milk everywhere, and it's glass, and it's this thing of shoppers, and everybody's like looking at me, and I'm like, I'm about to start crying. And the cashier's like, it's fine. And it's like, this isn't a restaurant. It's not like you guys have a mop or something. This is Sephora. And so
like they don't have cleaning.
The little lady next to you, she's over here just act like the milk is about to just burn her leg off. I'm like, and then I'm thinking on top of it, my baby ain't got no milk. We got to go home.
Oh, Lord.
All the things.
Yeah. And so the lady's just like, it's fine. And I'm just like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And so that's my perfectionist mindset too, because I am that way. And it's like, I try to control everything, and I try to be a perfectionist, and I have been stepping away from that. But I just had to tell myself, like, it's okay. You're a mom.
Yeah.
Things happen. Yeah. And it's fine. And they're going to be all right. They're going to sweep that glass up. They're going to mop the milk up, and life will move on. You know, but I ran up out of there.
But
like,
it always feels good though when someone tells you it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because that's happened plenty of times, just taking Riley out. You know, it's like, okay, he's going to do something, but I just try to make sure I have all the things that he likes that he can, you know, enjoy to alleviate some of the madness that may go on. But it's just like, you really can't prepare. That's why it's like, you got to be flexible as a mom. And we do have to take that pressure off ourselves to like say, it has to be just like this, because no day is ever just like this. You know,
and we get that because we talk about mom guilt a lot, but I think mom embarrassment is a thing too.
Thing.
It is a
yeah. Because even just like when I was preparing for her first flight, I'm just like, okay, like you just said, when you go out with Riley, you want to make sure you have everything he likes, because you don't want to have that mom embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept thinking like, okay, she have her headphones, she had this, like, is she gonna start crying? Because I can just remember, you know, being on a flight and seeing moms up bouncing their babies, and they're crying, and people looking at them with disgust. And it's just starting to realize, like, you know, they're humans. They have to be in this world too, and they have to live just like that. And it's just like, at one point you were a little toddler, you were a little baby, and it's like, you know, this is what it is. So I'm trying to like get out of that mom embarrassment, because of just, I'm not embarrassed of my baby. She's good, but it's just like in those certain situations, like, why am I embarrassed? You know what I'm saying? Like, because why is this? But it's because people put that onto you and making you seem like you're doing something wrong, when in all actuality your baby's just being a baby. Your toddler's just being a toddler. Right. You know, and oh my goodness. So that's something that I think that a lot of moms, you know, and I know I'm going to work on it. You know, I'm still new here, but just going into the new year, like just not even feeling that way. Like, oh, I actually don't want to show up to this restaurant because I'm, you know, maybe might cry, and that's a really nice restaurant. Because you would be surprised at how many places babies are welcomed. Yeah. And in my head, I was thinking like,
you do it to yourself.
I do
it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
I'll be like, oh, I can't bring her here because this. And they're like, well, babies aren't welcome here. And it's like, oh, dang. I didn't even, you know what I'm saying, think of that, because in my head, it's the mom embarrassment of, if I bring my child here, she's going to embarrass me because everyone's staring at me if she does something that kids are supposed to do.
Exactly. In my mind, I think about it like this. It's like, I'll never be able to do anything in his younger years, or we'll never be able to, you know, as his parents, do anything, go anywhere if we go into it with that mindset, like, okay, he's going to do this. Like, okay, as long as he's safe. You know, like, okay, of course I don't want to take him to a restaurant and he's like flipping up the table and all, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but it could happen.
Okay, listen. Okay. But it's just like, you know, just like you said, give yourself that grace with it. It's like, you know, Ryan wanted to come in here and see what her mama was doing. But then it's just like, you're creating this space too for like her to see you at work and see you doing something that, you know, you're proud of. And then when she understands what's going on, it's like, I'm proud of my mommy, and she was on the TV. Like, literally, I had turned on YouTube and one of our episodes popped up, and Riley was like, that's mommy. Like, he's like, mommy's on the TV. And then he sees her. He's like, it's TT Bree.
It's so cute.
It's so cute though. And it's just like, okay, like, we got to bring them to set sometimes. And
all the time,
you know, hope that they
get things done, okay?
Exactly. But it's just like, like,
I had that mindset though, especially with having two and trying to go out and stuff. I was like, you know what, I can't do this. Like, we're just gonna stay. I'll just, you know, order delivery and stuff. But it really took like Richard telling me, like, you have to go. Like, you have to try. They're going to be okay. Yeah. It's going to be fine. Now, sometimes we don't go to certain places just out of respect for the type of restaurant it is.
Exactly. Like, you're not going to show up to Chops with the twins.
Right. Like, I'm not going to go to certain ones, you know, just to be respectful. But some stuff I'm like, no, we're gonna go to the grocery store. And now that they're getting older, it's like I include them in the whole process of stuff. So when we go to the grocery store, I'm like, we're looking for the blue box or, you know, like certain things. And it makes it better. It makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But at first,
And I think that'll help moms too with that feeling of just like compassion. Because one thing my mom said to me, she's like, he's never gonna know like how to act in public if you don't take him.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
And I was like, you're right. Because we were kind of like that too. It's just like, oh, well, we don't want to take him because he might start crying and hollering because he's unhappy or he doesn't want to sit down because they're toddlers. They don't want to sit down the whole time. Like, you know, we tried taking him to the movies, which he likes, but it's like,
He gonna get a little distracted.
He's like, okay, I have to sit for 2 hours or, you know, whatever. So it's just like understanding that. But then I was like, Mom, that makes so much sense. It's like, how is he going to know how to maneuver through life, you know, and being out around other people and things of that nature if he never gets the chance? And why not start now? So I'm like, that makes sense. Like,
surprisingly, the twins do a good job in the movies. We've
gone
to see Moana 2.
That.
And we've gone to see the new Sonic. And they did a great job. Maybe because it's stuff that they're interested in.
I was about to say, depending on what it is, too. Because I think we did take him to see Bad Boys. But,
he was like, I'm out of here.
But he liked the action. It was just like, you know, I got to use the bathroom. And, I want to go sit. Because my parents were with us. Now I want to go sit next to Papa. And I want to sit. And it's like, okay, look now. Who do you want to sit by?
But, you know, the kids' movies, I think, is cool because it's a bunch of other kids, too.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, we've taken Kenny's daughter to go see a couple of movies. What's the one where they talk about anxiety and stress? I really like that.
Inside Out 2.
Yeah. So we went to see that in 3D.
Movie.
And I just love that it was a bunch of other kids in there and they got to interact with each other and kind of like for a little moment, they're all like friends. So they're screaming at the thing together and, you know, they're really into it. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool because that was like my first time kind of actually going into a kid's movie. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is so much better because, you know, in an adult movie, you're like, shh.
Yeah.
Why y'all out? Why y'all making noise? But in there, they're like, and I was like, this is so cute.
Yeah. We want to take him to see Sonic.
And I love that movie.
So
it's good.
Yeah, that he's like a Sonic. He want to get McDonald's and get the Sonic toy every day. So
yeah,
we're gonna take him. But I mean, that's true though. They got to get used to it, and then we on the back end have to start telling ourselves like, it's okay,
relax.
Yeah,
we're good.
It is what it is. Like he's a kid, and the stares though, like the stares from other people. And it's crazy
That's
because it's
hurtful,
like,
though.
it is.
Like some of
and
them are hurtful.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're a parent.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not
a parent, though,
you should understand, I feel.
Yeah. But it's like a lot of people, like, you know, I've just seen it on Instagram and in the comments, and they're just like, don't bring your kids on the plane or this and that. And then people respond to them like, you're entitled to, like, your world being kid-free, but the actual world is not kid-free.
Right. And that's
so it's like you kind of have to, you know, if you choose to not have kids or do anything, you're just like, that's fine. But, you know, you can't just expect to go out into the actual world and not see or have to interact with children. Exactly. And I think that's kind of hateful, too. Like, it's just like, that's kind of like elders. Like, you're not going to just be mean to an old lady for no reason, but you're going to be staring at me.
The crazy part is people are. And
you're right, friend.
Yeah, and
that's got to scale that back because we're just such nice people. I'm like, you're just not going to be mean to an old lady, but you're right because people are like, drive, lady.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just like the reality, and that's why we have to, like, as moms, just kind of get stronger in that aspect of how we approach, you know, like situations with our kids or just with anything. It's like not even just kids, like even with ourselves. It's like, okay, I may have said this is how I want my year to go. Or, you know, maybe I said like, I'm getting ready to go back to work full time in office. It's like, I'm knowing in my mind how I want to approach this. But I'm like, okay, girl, it may not happen every day. Like I have to get my kid used to getting up earlier. Like that's going to be a challenge for him, you know? And so even just trying to think about the new schedule, I'm like, okay, this is going to be new for the household. And it's okay if you don't get out in time. Like, you know, I'm already like trying to prepare myself like, Ashley, don't freak out. Because I will literally do that and then have an attitude about it the rest of the day.
And I think something that we can all do, and it was something that we talked about on the Boss Mom page, but just kind of going into the new year is like stopping and taking those deep breaths. Yeah. Because even this morning, as I started to get a little overwhelmed, like, you know, trying to get ready, trying to get here on time, you know, get things done for the household and make myself look presentable, it was like, okay, I just need to take a deep breath, and you're going to get there when you get there. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like things are going to move. And so I think sometimes a lot of people take that as just like, okay, I could just move on my own time. It's just like, no, I still, got here in a decent amount of time. But it's like if you have those small hiccups, it's like pause, deep breath.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Things are getting done and you're moving in the direction it has to go. And that just really helped me move smoothly through the morning, because the more overwhelmed I get, I notice the more things go wrong.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay.
That's true.
And so now it's like, okay, now I'm doing little stuff like stubbing my toe.
Right, look, now everything just falling apart.
Right,
I don't want to go.
Right, yeah, it's over.
It's over.
Cancel everything.
Right.
You do. And then I also think about God's protection too. So for those who may be spiritual and stuff, like yesterday we left his toys at a friend's house and we had to go back and get them. And I was basically catching a flat on the way there, right? And I was like, really? Like, why is this happening? Because I was on a time. I'm like, they were actually going to the movies. So I'm like, I need to make it over to their house by a certain time and make it back home because it was raining. And I was just like, I just don't want to be out today, for real.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, coming up on Covington, thank goodness, because they have so many tire places. And I just know that road. So I'm like, let me get off. It took an hour, delayed us an hour. And I'm like, okay, you don't know what God's protecting you from, right? And that's what anything is just like.
And it was raining
yesterday. It was.
It could have been a blowout.
It
could have been so many things.
I was so scared. I was like, okay, I'm literally driving like, let me get off on this exit before anything happens. But it's just like, I need to take that mindset with anything. It's just like, okay, like if you're delayed because the kids are acting up, that's gonna be me all the time. But and me just being late, that's a new year, new me thing to be on time. But it's just like I think about that too. It's just like, you know what? There may be something that was in my path, and if I would have been on time, that would have gotten me. The babies are screaming, y'all, so I ain't even gonna lie to y'all like that. That's why we're looking crazy. Like, okay, do we need to go out there?
I thought it was my babies.
Oh Lord,
it's my babies.
I'm sorry. Probably looking like, what are they looking? I'm like,
we're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's that mom embarrassment. I'm like, oh God.
She's like, I'm about to hop up. I gotta get there.
Is it an emergency?
Right? Is it emergency? Because they howling at me.
Right. Like
today was a true testament of real motherhood.
It was,
the things that
and
we
not
have to
being
go
perfect.
through. Yes.
And not being perfect.
Going with the flow, being flexible.
And making things happen. Because a lot of moms use the excuse, well, I can't get this done for myself. We make things happen.
Yeah.
You are a mom and you can make things happen.
Just got to do it. Just get up and do it, boss mom. And take them kids with you.
Okay? Take them on a journey of success. Like, get rich for your kids.
In the new year. In the new year, ladies. This is what we're saying to you. Okay? Are y'all looking?
Literally.
There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Reinvent yourself. Just learn how to maneuver through life with your kids. I think that's the thing.
And I think
we're learning how to
us.
do things.
She's showing us
with
today.
The kids. Okay,
baby.
She's showing us.
I had to leave Brayden out there rubbing his sister head.
Oh,
she's
really
sleepy.
Is cute. She's
so
tired.
cute.
She's sleepy.
And that's
really
what it
is
is. She
tired.
want to be up under mommy because she's tired.
She's ready to take her nap under mommy. Yeah,
it is nap time.
It's nap time.
It is.
She told me in the car, I'm really, really tired.
Oh, I love when they tap into their emotions and how they feel. Like Riley told me he was crying the other day. I said, well, Riley, just stop crying. You don't have to cry at everything. And he said, well, I want to cry. I just want to cry. I said, well, why?
Well, just cry.
I just do. Okay. Since you told me that's what you want to do, I'm going to respect your feelings and I'm going to let you do what you want to do.
Oh, my goodness. I love that.
We learning emotions for real. We have the emotions chart. Which one are you today?
I need one of
what
those.
Zone are we? I'll print you out one. Girl.
Yeah.
We got one with the
I like that.
with the melanin children.
Yeah.
And they show their expressions. And then we have one with the zones. What zone are we in? Are we in red, blue, or green? Which one?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
we have to.
I can't wait till
we have
Ava's
big
older.
emotions.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to let's
and
learn
kids
to control
do,
them.
and people have to stop, minimizing kids' emotions because they really do feel so much.
They do. And I
Yeah.
actually saw a post about that of us just like being more in tune with them and us expecting them to react. And it's like, it's a kid, right? They have to learn these things. So it's like,
but it's also as moms too, we have to learn how to regulate our emotions.
Yes.
Because
that's a good one.
Like they react sometimes based off how we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can feel our tension and our frustration, and that only exaggerates and makes
and they start acting
more.
like you too.
Yeah.
If they
I saw
see
a
you doing
post,
it, they'll do it.
And it said, you have to mother from how you're looking at it. It's like your kids aren't getting on your nerves. You're just lacking a little bit of patience today.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And in the
Right.
post, it had a different other, cute little points. And I was like, that's so good because we have emotions, they have emotions, but they're doing the same thing they do every day as children. But maybe we woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So it's just
Right.
like, okay, you need to sit with yourself, regulate your emotions, and then approach your mothering and your parenting for dads as well. You know, how you're actually coming. Like, it's not, y'all just so like, oh, well, I wish I could remember what the other one said. It was such a good post. But yeah, we're going to share that on the Boss Mom page because I think that was a really good post to really kind of sit like with yourself and kind of understand the perspective, so.
And be honest with yourself, because I definitely looked at Riley doing his tantrum, doing his little do one day, and I said, hold on, because that looks like something I've done. Like, just because I've had, my outbursts too. Like you said, we have our emotions as moms, as adults. And it's like, I've thrown a big girl tantrum a time or two that he has seen. And I'm just like, I'm recognizing it in him. And I'm like, okay, let me step back because I have to realize, okay, Ashley, you're human. And sometimes you need to excuse yourself from your child to say, hey, give mommy a second because I don't want him to take on those
They're
attitudes
sponges.
and stuff. Yeah, they are.
Kids
They're
are
literally
sponges.
everything. That's why you got to watch what you say, what you do, because they really are looking. So I'm just like, wow, okay, he's truly my mini-me and his dad's. And we have to watch what we do around him because he is just, emulating what he sees. So
that kind of goes... I just thought about it as we're about to wrap the show.
Yeah.
But going into our vulnerability moment. So you guys send us in these amazing questions that we love to answer every other week for you all. So going into the question for this week is, do you think the way we were raised as Black women alter the way we show up in relationships and motherhood? This is such a great question, y'all. I really want to get into this.
Yeah.
Okay. And wow.
I think it does.
This question wowed me. So I'll just, go ahead,
I think it
guys.
does. And like me and my mom actually had to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And this was like way prior to me even being in a relationship, being married, having kids.
Yeah.
Like my mother had to be strong for so long because it was her. She was the one that everyone came to in the family. She made all the decisions and everything like that. So that was all I saw.
Yeah.
Like, granted, I had a stepdad who, came in and did what a man is supposed to do, but he wasn't in the house with us every day, So this was someone who didn't have to be or step in to be my dad, but he did. However, it was me and my mom, so I always saw her making the decisions, being strong, doing all. So that like rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
And then my mom recognized it in me and how I was in relationships and trying to have a relationship and all this other stuff. So me and her had to have a conversation, and she was like, "Look,
wow,
tone it down. Like, you don't have to be this way. You're young. You didn't go through what I've gone through. You hadn't even experienced certain things in life yet. So you don't have to be this strong. You don't have to be this hard." Right. And I had to learn that even when me and Richard got together. Like, he literally told me one time, do you even need me? Like,
wow.
I've heard that too.
Do I need to be here?
Wow.
And so like that was like okay, you know what? Let me make sure I take a step back. And like I had to step into what they say, my soft era, my femininity a little bit more, so that I can like, okay, let me make sure I am really and truly like not being this hard shell. Yeah. Like I got it by myself all the time, because you do need people. Like you do need others to step in and help you. And that's all I know Richard was trying to do. So for him to say that, it made me like, okay, you know what?
Yeah. And that is so, and I relate to that, but in a different way. Because my stepdad did raise me. My mom's been married twice. So she was married to my biological father. He left at like 3. Then she got remarried to my stepdad, who raised me, and I look at him as my dad. But like you were saying, is that you saw your mom being hard, making all these decisions, doing these things. But I seen that, but in a different way. And so she, she had her husband, but my mom worked. I can't say that about that lady. One thing about it, she has 5 kids and she worked and she made things happen, but she was so soft and submissive that to where you wouldn't even think that anything would be going wrong until now that I'm an adult and I can have these real conversations with her, where it's like, dang, this was going on behind the scenes, but it never looked like it. The house ran smoothly. This was this, and it was just like, and that's how she raised me. So it's crazy that you say like, okay, I seen this, I came up and I became in the relationship to be so soft to be so hard because I feel like I'm too soft. And so it's like, and then I meet friends who are just like, you can't take that from a man, you can't do that. But for me, it was like, you need to submit to your man, you need to let him lead you. But because I also was a high level entrepreneur, and first of all, I lived 3 lives. As a teacher, it was different. As a bottle girl, it was different. And as a making a lot of money, it was way different. Yeah. But they look at women who make a lot of money and they just look as you don't need a man. So it was really hard for me to date in that era of my third life. And so it was so crazy because I was like, dang, like I am submissive. I do cook. I do clean. I do make sure your needs are met, for this. But it was like, nobody really believed that because they just see this person like really getting to it, really working hard. But my mom definitely raised me to be submissive. She raised me to like, just to like understand that you still have to work hard. You still have to have your own. You still have to, be that girl. But at the same time, it's like if a man comes in and he's wanting to help you, you have to, cater to that. You know what I'm saying? And so I was seeing myself do that. And then in my bottle girl era life, I was in a long-term relationship and I was still doing that as I was building myself. And I was in a relationship with a narcissist. So that tore me all the way down. So you can even imagine like, oh my goodness. And so I do think the way you were raised, because in that moment I needed to be stronger. But because of the way I was raised, it was like, cater to my man. It's like I'm coming home and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and I was so burnt out. And then this man's just telling me like, this isn't enough. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? What do you mean? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do to be, and you're the only one married here, truthfully. So it's like, dang. So even at the same time, it's like, I've been doing this, but is this enough? Because my mom's been married twice. She has 5 kids. I still don't have a ring, and I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do every single time I'm in a relationship. And sometimes it's just like I had to learn when to alter those things, when to put my foot down, when to, really speak up. And I feel like in the relationship I'm in now, it kind of works that way because if something ain't right, hey, I do speak up. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to not at all because of the way I was raised. So as I've gotten older, like you said, you kind of came more into your soft femininity shell. I've started to know, okay, when to put in a little bit more masculine energy. Like, this ain't seeming right. Let me, put a little or then be like, okay, let me scale back and let, my man do what my man's supposed to do. So I think you got to get that balance as you get older. Having more conversations with our moms really, helps.
It does help, for sure.
For sure. Yeah. But I do love that my stepdad was in the house. I got to see certain things and I can see what they mean too. Like I was dating more men like my dad's, both of them. Because I ain't gonna be completely honest, they both some narcissists. They a little crazy. I love them, And so it was like now I stepped out of that zone and actually went for, someone that just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That isn't as toxic as I would say my dad's are.
Yeah. No, I really like this question, and I agree with both of you. It's like you kind of what you see when you're growing up is what you emulate as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, and my mom too, the strong woman, the one everyone goes to, the fixer, the everything, and I grew up in a single parent household. Now I did have my dad, but I didn't grow up with him in the house. So I think that's, a difference too, because it's not only the relationship with the parents, but you watching your parents' relationship with each other, right?
Yeah.
And so whether it be your biological dad or your stepdad, you still have something that you're watching. And so you kind of know, it's like, okay, I know what I want, I know what I don't want, or I know how to react in certain situations, when things go wrong. Because I feel like a lot of the things too stem from social media, which is, I have a love and hate relationship with social media because it's so much out there on this is how your relationship should be, or this is what you should stand for. And, as Black women and Black moms, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to put our foot down.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to let a man do X, Y, and Z.
And then you become a bitter Black woman.
And then, right, now you're a bitter Black woman, or you can't be successful, or, have these things. Like you say, you had 3 different stages of who you were as a woman, and then coming into a relationship now being a mom and taking care of the house. So it's like different. And then same with you, and it's just like, okay, if you don't know, or if you haven't been in that situation to kind of know how to maneuver through the hard times, I feel like that's kind of like it kind of sucks for us because we give up a lot, I feel. And I think that too, even being submissive, because I know you talked about being submissive a lot, and we have that conversation a lot in my relationship because sometimes I feel like I gotta have the last word, and now it's a battle,
that
and we're
goes
tugging war, and and it's like I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when Black women especially, hear the word submissive, they think, oh, I'm too soft. I don't have a say. That's not even what submissive means if you look it up, and I had to do some digging, and so this is kind of like me to me right now, but it's just like, that was my mindset. It's just like, dang, I gotta be a mouse. I just gotta sit there and be like,
mouse.
Not a mouse.
whatever you say, go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not me as a person, but now also learning the type of woman I want to be in my relationship, and hopefully one day wife. It's just like, okay, Ashley, if you trust this man, you've been with him, right? You say this is the person you want to be with. How do you change your ways from that perspective to let him know it's okay to be the man? I don't want to be the man. Because he didn't ask me that, do you want to be the man? No, I don't want to be the man. I don't want to be the man. I want a man. I don't want to be the man. But like, also making those words match my actions too,
But I think that one thing that we as women have to understand is we are the brains and the power in the household. You just have to do it in a way that it seems like the man is doing it.
Right.
And so I think once you kind of master that, because a lot of things that, like you were just saying, I got to have the last word, I got this. See, we don't argue.
Okay,
I don't
I'm
get
arguing
loud.
down.
Yeah,
I
you
should've been on the
arguing
debate
down. And it's like,
team.
you talk to different people and you hear these relationships, and I think about myself, but it's like the same thing that I want to get done. If I plant it here and there and then it moves back around,
it really,
but it comes back to exactly what I wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying? So as a submissive woman and as somebody who knows how to control and make things flow in her favor and really living in your feminine power, we are what controls. We
make the house go
because the
round.
men don't know where their drawers are, where this is going, where that's happening.
They'll lose
what
their
they
head
doing
if
today.
it wasn't on their
and
body.
so it's just like, as the woman, you are that's what it is. That's what actually happens. And so it's like, if you could do it in a way where you can maneuver it, and I think once you master that, that's everything just flows. And it keeps the household peaceful, because all men want is peace, if we're just being honest. So it's just like,
you can't be rah, rah, rah,
yeah,
all the
you know what I'm
time.
saying? But people, like you said, you looked at it as it being a mouse. I just looked at it as like, okay, I'm gonna still have the last word. It's just not gonna be in the way that most people
Not
think
verbally.
the last word
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't have any examples
work
right
out
now,
in
but
the
it's going to
end.
work out in the end to
Yeah.
exactly how I need it to be, because I know how to maneuver it in a way that it's going to go. Because in all actuality, I make this household run.
Yeah.
Truthfully. You know what I'm saying? You're paying the bills, you're making the money, you're doing these things, but baby, this thing going down. Okay. Literally.
And I think even when you add like the motherhood piece to it too, it's a lot of broken homes. I don't know the stats, so I'm not going to sit up here and act like I do, but it's a lot of broken homes that ultimately affect the children. And I'm not saying stay in an unhappy situation, like if you just can't figure it out, but also take the time to figure it out, with like your relationship. And it's been times, it's been times where we like, do we even need to do this? Like, are we just staying in it for the child? And it's like, that's not fair to either of us, to be in an unhappy situation. But it's like, are we doing all we can to make it work? Like, really being patient and talking things out and effectively communicating. Because I feel like that's too, it's like you see things, back to social media, you see things, it's like, I don't have to stand for this. Or a lot of people don't know how to communicate.
Social media influences
a lot of people
so
don't know how to
much.
communicate.
They don't.
They don't.
And communication is like a huge factor in a relationship. And so when you think about your relationship, that trickles down to your children, your family that you're trying to build. And it's like, if you can't effectively do that, now you have a broken home. And now, and we see that a lot in the Black community. Like, single mom can do it all by, not saying that you can't, because I was raised by a single mom. And she made it happen.
Single mom,
You know what I'm saying? But
They do.
I ain't saying she wanted to be a single mom either.
Right. Same.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's just like, we have to think about all those things, but I definitely do think it's like how you were raised, because you probably take that, and it could work vice versa. You probably say, hey, I don't want this, so I'm not going to take that.
I also want you to consider too, because I think one thing as well that I know me and Kenny kind of go back and forth on is the way that your man was raised as well. So that
is,
really,
for
we
sure.
have these conversations, and I love being in a healthy relationship. I love having these conversations, because it's like, he was raised this way, I was raised this way. And, as we speak on marriage or we speak on other things and we speak on how things get done, some of those things differ because of, his dad passed at an early age. He didn't have that that there. So he's never seen, this, and I've only seen marriage, and, it's a bunch. And, and like you said, social media comes into play, a lot of other stuff, but it's so interesting too, because it's like at the same time, if you meet a man and he is telling you, I don't want to get married, or this isn't happening, or this and that, truthfully, in our brains, don't think later down the line you could possibly change that, or that if you have a baby, it'll change that, or, certain things. So I think a lot of men do need therapy. I think a lot of women need therapy. Like you said, I think a huge takeaway from this is communication. And, you're blending families.
Yeah.
And not just saying blending families, like even when it comes to children, stepchildren, things of that nature. It's also blending families of, hey, this person comes from a family. They have sisters, they have brothers, they have moms, they have dads, grandparents. How were they raised? What goes, down the line here? You know what I'm saying? And then what's coming down the line here? And then what are we bringing together?
Right.
You have two individual people that you're trying to combine and make one person.
And sometimes it can
it can clash. You have different beliefs, different views, different morals.
Religions, ways that you were raised, certain things. It's so much that goes into it, and there's so many conversations we aren't having because of people just get on social media and be like, hey. And it's just like, dang, like you really aren't seeing the deeper level to this. We're just really hitting surface level. But until you get into a real relationship and you're actually trying to take that next step over into marriage, that's when you really see the hard part, or until you have a kid.
But the key thing that you said, that both of you said though, is being in a healthy relationship where you have those conversations. That communication. Because you have to be willing, to have those conversations with someone, and you have to have someone who's willing to have those conversations back with you, where you're not the only person
for sure
talking about it.
For sure.
Because it's not going to work. Like if you're the only person speaking about it, if you're the only one pushing for it.
Exactly.
It's really
and that's why I say, are we doing together the work? You know what I'm saying? Because I think too, it's like we think things are supposed to come easy. And I personally just don't think that a relationship and having a family, I don't think it comes easy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no,
I saw a post about that
work.
too.
It's just
like,
building.
Oh, it's not supposed to be hard. And it's just like you just said, you're literally blending two personalities together that come from, in a lot of cases, two different backgrounds, and it's just like, okay, well, how do I learn to understand you? And vice versa. You understand me, so that we can work together as a we, and it's not I all the time.
But it might be uncomfortable, maybe not hard, maybe the word should be uncomfortable. I think that, sometimes word usage really matters there, because it's going to be uncomfortable. Things are going to come up, things are going to happen. And when a lot of people look at hard, because a lot of people are in relationships with narcissistic women or men. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some really good men trying to make this woman be right. And I know some really good, women trying to make this man be right. And it's like, if you see the red flags, don't ignore them. Because the thing is, there's nothing changing in that disorder, in that personality. I dealt with it, y'all. I was in the hole. So it's like, if you're in a relationship where this, please get out. Start therapy immediately. But
even to Lericia's point, it's like both people. Because usually, even in a narcissistic situation, it's only one person that's really trying to do the change. And the other person is like, it's nothing wrong.
It's and that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. If you see those red flags, you got to stop trying to force it. And so it's like, you kind of know. I mean, truthfully, I knew, but if for some reason it's just I kept getting finessed. I'll be honest. Like, it's just like, dang, you be in love with people, you think this can change, and until you really experience it, and one day you just wake up. But it takes those two people, and it's like, yes, it can get a little difficult. You can't get in the trenches, but let's just I be telling people, like, it's gonna be uncomfortable. Things are gonna happen,
because you learn about yourself.
But it's not hard, but you do.
Which people don't want to face the mirror.
Facing yourself is the toughest thing you will ever do. Or I won't say the toughest, one of the toughest things that you'll ever do. Because you have to be real with yourself. And for a lot of people, it's hard to be real with yourself.
Because I like the accountability, and I like that you got to take constructive criticism. So one thing I asked Kenny when we went on my date for my birthday was, what's something that I could work on for you going into our new year? You know what I'm saying? Because around our birthday time is like our anniversary, I guess. You have to ask him. He knows our anniversary date. I don't. But
we don't have one
just kind of moving into the new year and things of that sort. I feel like you could really have these conversations with each other. Like, hey, what's something that you're really not enjoying with me? Or what's this, so that you can grow in a direction? Because we're fairly new. So, I'm trying to see, like, okay, is there something getting on your nerves that because a lot of times, you might not speak up, or you might not want to say it because it's so minor, but it's something I may want to work on. And then it's like, you can't be mad if you be like, well, I really want you to stop. Like, you know, and then women get like,
I'm perfect and I know I do this.
You know what I'm saying? So kind of really take that in for your man, because as women, we're going to tell them like, hey, I ain't like it when you leave me your drawers on the floor, or when this is happening, or certain things. But sometimes as men, they just kind of stay shut because they don't want to start the argument because they want peace. So everything does not have to be an argument. It's just like, okay, let me take in this constructive criticism. Maybe he might say, hey, I like it when you like do this a little more, you take that away. And then it's like, okay, don't try to backlash him on it. Just kind of take it in.
Take it in.
And that's
Think
a
about
form
it.
of submissiveness, guys.
I mean, it is. But this was
just
such a
a
good
tip.
question. I feel
I
like this
love
need to be
this
an
question.
episode.
We could go this all day,
We're gonna make this an episode, Mama. So thank you for your question.
This was great, because we'll be out here going,
Okay,
going.
I'm
Going
feeling
on.
it.
Yes.
But
Time to wrap it up.
Listen. Happy New Year again.
New Year.
We're
Happy New
excited to go
Year.
into this new year with you all, and we appreciate
think my
all the
wine is
support
gone.
thus far. And we'll be back for another episode.
See ya.
Bye.